Hey, welcome. I'm Allison. I am a reading specialist and the director of curriculum instruction for elementary at my school, and I am coming live to you today to share some activity ideas and just things that you can have your students do at the beginning of the school year. This year is definitely going to look different, and so I just hope to give you some ideas and inspiration for things that you can do, whether you're at school with restrictions or maybe you're teaching remotely, just some flexible ideas. If you can hear me okay, would you let me know in the comments just so that I know that everything is smooth sailing, because I had a little bit of a tech issue when I was setting up, so I'd appreciate you letting me know. But anyway, we are going to start by looking at the kindergarten materials. So it's about 11 my time. At 11:30 my time, we're going to start looking at the first and second grade literacy club materials. So if you're thinking about becoming a club member, you already are a club member, or you're not a club member, this is going to have ideas for you and some inspiration. And if you are thinking about becoming a club member, then this is a great way to see not only the physical materials, but I'm also going to show you inside the club. I'll show you our digital bonuses. And if you already are a club member, great, then you'll see some new ideas for how to use the July materials. Thank you, Brooke, Christy, and Brenda. Totally appreciate you guys letting me know. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and dive into the kindergarten materials. So, of course, one thing that we're practicing at the beginning of kindergarten is our names. And there's so much more that we can do than just have kids practice writing their names. You know, we can have them use different colored markers. And one of the activities I love is to have them make a little name booklet. So they write their name here, of course. You can also, if you have a lot of kids that are struggling with their names, you could always write it for them here. It just kind of depends on what you want to do. Or if you're able to be in school and you've got, the nameplate on their desk, they can always copy from there. It just kind of depends on what you want to do with your students. But this is a nice name activity that lasts a little bit longer. They can keep it, they can take it home. They could even do this at home with their families if you're doing remote teaching, as long as, families can either print something out or you can get a copy to them. So very flexible. So here on our first page, we just draw a picture of ourselves. Hopefully, let me slide that over so you can see that. We write our names again, and you will have to kind of walk the kids through this. It's not necessarily something you just hand them, but it can be really fun to do it as a whole class. My name begins with the letter, and you can, of course, have them sing the alphabet and touch each letter. This is a page that can be done more than once. It's so nice to have this here for them because they can have that opportunity to connect the alphabet letter song and the alphabet letter, so they can sing it. They can circle the letter that their name begins with. And then they can also circle the other letters in their name, which can be a challenge, right? So they might have to look back at their name tag or back at the front and find the other letters, and you can have them practice naming the letters in their name. And then you can have them count the letters in their name, and you can also have them practice counting just the numbers. So do that a couple times and then help them count the letters in their name. This could even be sent home as like a little activity if you're not doing remote teaching. And then they just write their name in different colors. So this is in the Kindergarten Literacy Club materials, but of course this is something that you could also create on your own. Very simple, but it lasts a little bit longer than just your basic name practice, and very flexible because as long as you're able to get some sort of printed materials, you could even do this remotely. Or maybe you just have this displayed if you're teaching remotely, and the parents make one at home, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be this printed copy. You could still use this copy to lead parents in different activities like counting the letters and identifying the letters and all that good stuff. So this is one thing that's part of the July Kindergarten Literacy Club materials. Another thing that our club members got were these letter pages. And in our webinars this week, I was talking about how valuable it is to have activities that you can teach consistency or consistent activities that you can use because in kindergarten, of course, kids are just learning to work on their own. And so having to teach directions for lots of different materials sometimes just isn't practical. B, you might be doing some remote teaching, and parents also need that consistency. So if you have an activity like this, I know you can't see the whole page, unfortunately, but here's what the bottom looks like. You can do this with every single letter. So in the Kindergarten Literacy Club materials, you have one of these for every letter, and it's the shape of an umbrella if you can't tell. Sorry, kind of me see if I can change no, it's crooked, but now at least you kind of see the whole sheet. It's an umbrella, and the kids can they don't have to necessarily use bingo dabbers. They could use counters, right? They could just place counters or blocks on the letter U. They could use markers. You could give them a different tool every time. The nice thing about having a consistent sheet, like for each single letter, is you can keep that routine, but make small changes to keep it more exciting. So instead of bingo dabbers, maybe one day you use counters, and then they trace the little word umbrella down there. But again, Kindergarten Literacy Club members, you have this for every single letter. Just a nice routine, can be done at school, can be done at home. I know that with some apps like Seesaw, you could actually send just one page of these to families, and I believe that the kids can write on it in the app and actually circle things. So that's even an option for digital. I like to, of course, having kinders at this age do a lot more hands-on type stuff, but we have to be a little bit creative during this strange time. So hopefully that gave you some ideas for a consistent letter routine. And there's, of course, many more things we do beyond just this type of sheet with the letters, but it's nice to have that routine. And it's great for families too, because if you're doing remote learning, it can be a lot for them to manage. Okay, whoops, lost a little piece of my puzzle there. Ooh, let's look at this. This is one of my favorite tools from the July Kindergarten Literacy Club. So if you're at school, kindergarten teachers might ordinarily want to, or hopefully be able to do some play with their kids, and that has changed, right? Like, a lot of us can't have our kids near each other. Play is going to look different. So first of all, I want to reassure you that kids will find ways to play, even if they can't be physically together with each other. Kids are creative like that. They will adapt. But I was thinking, like, how can I figure out, ways to get them playing if they're working remotely, right? Like, of course they play at home, but how can I incorporate literacy and really enrich that play? And so one thing that you can do is you can actually send home some optional dramatic play literacy props. And in this one, it's kind of hard to tell. I see somebody asking about the document camera. So I am using my IPEVO document camera, and I'm using a program called eCam Live, I think it is, to do this thing. But you can accomplish this with any document camera, and if you're broadcasting to your students, you can do this with a tool like Zoom or Loom. So this eCam is specific for Facebook, which is why I have it, because I wanted to be able to show you stuff and then also talk to you. Okay, so anyway, this comes from, again, the Kindergarten Literacy Club materials, but these are resources for making a pretend pizzeria. So here we have the kids get to say what they want on their pizza. They get to circle things they want. They could add something else. They can make their own little pricing menu. So one slice is $1, two slices $2, or whatever. It's really up to their creativity. And in a normal situation at school, I really like to play with them and kind of inspire them, give them ideas of how the props could be used. Of course, that might not be an option this year, but what I was kind of saying earlier is that you can send home these props, or you can offer them to parents just in case they want to enrich their play at home. They might be bored, right? A lot of us have been spending a lot of time at home. Well, how great would it be for them to have something new to play that also incorporates literacy? And it incorporates literacy because they're seeing, oh, this is a word, and I have to, I can pretend read this word. And I have somewhere here, where did it go? Oh, here it is. The props also include some helpful pizzeria words, so they can write about their experience if they want. They can, again, make this little pricing menu here. So the options are really endless, but this is one way that you could, just something you could offer to families if you want to encourage creative, dramatic play at home that also incorporates a little bit of literacy. So that's another Kindergarten Literacy Club resource. Something else, I was saying this in my webinar on Monday and Wednesday, but if you can get any hard copy materials to families, especially at the kindergarten level, I feel like that's going to be essential. I know that last year, with sudden and unplanned remote learning, a lot of us couldn't get hard copy materials to our kids' families. But this year, hopefully you can ask your administration if you can just get a few things to the kids and their families somehow get them copies, because I feel like it's important for kids at this stage to have some really hands-on materials. And one thing that you could consider giving them, so this is just one example again from the Kindergarten Literacy Club, but these puzzles are really versatile, right? First of all, they're not really self-checking, so you might want to have the kids use something like an alphabet chart to make sure that they're getting the capital and the lowercase letter correct. But the nice thing about one set of these puzzles, and of course it takes some time to cut, but once the kids have them, as long as you do them on maybe slightly sturdier paper, they can do these puzzles over and over and over again. And you could even play games with them if you're doing like a remote chat or something with your students, or a remote little class. My printer's talking to us, sorry. So you could have them, you could say a sound, okay, I want you to look for the puzzle piece that says k, or something like that, right? So you could play letter games with them. They can assemble them over and over again. So if you're able to get something into their hands, then this would be something that I would definitely share with them, as well as an alphabet chart, like I mentioned, and also probably just some like little letter tiles that they can also use to maybe eventually build words, but for right now, just work with letters. So this is also something that, of course, can be used just in your everyday teaching. And normally I would have just a few sets of these, right? And the kids would work together. But this year, especially if you can't have the kids near each other, you could maybe make like 6 or 10 sets, and then they rotate between the kids and they have a little bit of time to de-germify, but each kid would get one set at a time. So this is something, again, that's in the Kindergarten Literacy Club. All right, so I think I've shown you all of, let's see, so every month, the Kindergarten Literacy Club members get 4 center activities. They're actually getting a digital bonus now in addition that's pure digital, not hard copy at all, and I'm going to show you what that looks like in a little bit. But every month my members get 4 new activities. So we had 1, 2, let's see if I'm missing one. No, I'm not. 3 and 4. And in addition to that, they get those 4 centers. They also get 3 printable and digital text. I'll show you what the digital version looks like, which is great for remote learning, or if you just can't print for whatever reason. They get 3 little books, and they get a lesson plan for each book. So like at the very beginning of the year, it's just really simple stuff. And you would, of course, probably be reading it with the kids. They wouldn't necessarily be reading it on their own, but they can do things like practice pointing under the word. You know, what's the first letter? They could circle the first letter. If you use the black and white version, they can color the picture. And since it's about school, it's just a way to kind of get them adjusted. And we had a member who suggested doing one for digital school. So that is definitely something that I want to add in the future, since school is maybe not necessarily looking like it normally does for kids this year. So every single month they get 3 books, and the levels change throughout the school year. There's always some at like different levels, right? So, you know, this one is more advanced and it says, I walked to lunch. But you get 3 levels, and the levels follow the U.S. American school calendar. So they, of course, get a little bit more challenging throughout the year, but they're very, very basic right now. And then you also get a lesson plan and some activities for each book there. Okay, so this is all my hard copy stuff. And now what I want to do is I want to switch my screen share, if this will cooperate with me. Okay, I'm going to show Google Chrome. All right, so now what I want to show you are some of the other goodies that I've mentioned that are in the Kindergarten Literacy Club. So, like I said, with pandemic teaching, you always get, as a club member, you always get your 4 centers, but I decided to add a digital bonus for right now. As long as pandemic teaching is continuing, you will get at least 1 digital activity pack for your kids a month as a club member. And if it turns out that everybody's just doing digital, I'm really going to be talking to our club members and seeing like, what do you need most? That may increase, but for now it's just 1. And let's look at this example. So it's in the Boom Learning platform, which is free to use, and families can access it on any device. All they need is internet. So that's why I chose this platform, just because, you know, people are using so many different things. There's Google Classroom, there's this, there's that, but Boom works on any internet browser. So as long as it's not like from 1995. So this deck has audio directions.
Let's practice our colors.
And, oops. So first they're just going through and they're like selecting objects that are red.
Select all the objects that are red.
So it's really easy. And of course, if they have a tablet, they can just touch, which is really nice. They're selecting objects, different colors. Sorry if I'm making you dizzy. I'm just trying to get to the different or the next type of thing. So then they are sorting by color. And if they get something wrong, it will tell them. So then they have to fix that. And then finally, we are also making some color words. So it has the word there for them as a model, but they can drag and drop. Again, this is in the Boom Learning platform, and it will tell them.
Make the word red.
So it'll tell them the word, and that's nice because then they're not just like imitating, they're actually engaging with, you know, the letters and hopefully thinking about the names of the letters, and you can talk about that. But this is a digital activity that you can just give to your kids very easily. They don't even need an account. You just give them either the link or like this little code, and your Boom Learning account is free. So it really is very easy to use. And that's why I chose Boom Learning as the platform for our digital bonuses. So club members, you will be getting that as long as pandemic teaching continues, however long this is. And I will just be checking in with you to see like, okay, are you doing all remote teaching? What types of materials do you need? I will just constantly be checking in with you to make sure that the materials really reflect what you do need, because I know that things might be changing quickly as well this year. Who knows what's going to happen? All right, so a couple of other things. We have a few more minutes before we need to talk about first and second. This is an example of the digital book. So it's just a PDF, and the reason why I just made it a PDF is so that you could share it with an app like Seesaw. You could email it. You can really, however you want to share it, you can. Just very simple. It's not formatted to any one platform. But that's an example of the digital book. And you actually always get these. It's not just a pandemic thing. You always have access to a digital copy of each one of the 3 books per month that you get. All right, let's take a quick peek around the login area. So if you're a member and you log in, this is what you see. So if you're new to the club, let me just show you some things so that you just know what all is in here, because there is a lot of different stuff. So for your July materials, this is everything that I just showed you. It's the books, it's the centers. Once we have our private coaching session today at 3, we're doing a Q&A session just for club members. Once that is over, the recording of that will get uploaded here. And as long as you're a member, you can log in and watch whenever. So that's a nice thing. With the other system I have for most of my free webinars, those links expire after like a week. But with this, you can log in, and as long as you're a member, you can absolutely watch that whenever you like. So those are the July materials. Lisa says, is your digital compatible with Seesaw? So the link can be shared via Seesaw. They don't play it in the Seesaw platform. They can play it on any device, in any browser, but you can share the code or the link for them to play in Seesaw. Yes, so very, very easy to navigate for families. Okay. Where did we go? Here we are. So I showed you the hard copies of the July materials, and now I just want to show you a couple of other things. Of course, we have back to school materials. I had done like a little video series that just shows you how I set up for my, kindergarten day and the year. And this, maybe a little bit relevant this year, maybe not so much, but the planning process and the way that I go about it can be adapted to your specific situation. We have a parent packet in here that just has all kinds of goodies, things that, like an alphabet chart like I was showing you. We have counting stuff, just things that you might want to give the parents to have as resources for at home. And that will be especially important if you're doing any remote learning. So just all kinds of stuff in there for the parents and the kids to do at home. Let's see what else. There are extra name activities. So I did show you that little name book, but there are more name activities. And again, that's in the back to school section. So lots of little goodies in there. There's a name song. You can probably do some of those at school and maybe send them home if you need to do some distance learning. Let's see, was there anything else in back to school? Oh, I do have like a back to school guide to help with your planning and all that. And you would I have a list of routines and procedures to teach, which you may need to add on to this year, but that is in there just to kind of help you stay organized and remember what all you need to add to your first week lesson plans. Hey Karen, I don't have the Literacy Club for bilingual right now. Sorry about that. The materials are all in English. Rebecca, all digital for the parents too. Rebecca, I'm not 100% sure I understand what you mean. Sorry about that. Do you mean, so you can, this login is for you as the teacher, and then you are welcome as a Literacy Club member to share any of those PDFs or any resource things that you want with families. So you can share those PDFs. Let me know if that didn't answer your question completely though. All right, let's see what else. So in the Literacy Essentials, there's all kinds of stuff. There's suggested apps for kindergarten, a whole big list, and I included them for, like the Apple Store, Google Play, Kindle, because I know that sometimes you might have various devices at school and sometimes families do. Okay, good, Rebecca. I'm glad that answered your question. So that is the suggested app list. These really, the main point of these activities or these resources in here are just things that as a club member you have access to, and when you need to, for example, find a book about a specific topic, you can just go to the book list, and tons of books that are recommended for kindergarten. Sometimes kindergarten, sometimes they'll label books as like primary K2, but there's like just too much going on for kindergarten. And so what I did is I broke down books that I really liked for this age group, and you can look, okay, I need some holiday books, or I need some books about emotions, feelings, super important, right? And there's a ton of suggestions there. If you need some books about family, books about friendship, just an easy way to hopefully cut down on some of the time that you would ordinarily spend looking for stuff online, looking for book lists and all that. I also have a scope and sequence for literacy throughout the year in case your school does not provide one, just to give you a little bit of guidance. So the Literacy Essentials section just has things that hopefully will serve you throughout the year and cut down on some of your planning time. You are welcome, Christina. Camila says, I know Boom Learning allows for up to 5 kids, I think, for free. So Camila, there's 2 options for Boom Learning. You can do a free account, and I don't know if they were doing a promotion because of the pandemic, and I don't know if they've extended it or not, but there's 2 kinds of accounts, right? There's the free account, there's a paid account. You might still be able to get the paid for free. I don't know, I haven't checked on it lately, but regardless, with the free account, you can just send codes to any number of students in your class. You don't have to have them log in. For kindergarten, sometimes it can be a little bit challenging to get them to log in. But if you have the paid account and they do log in individually, then you also see their progress and you see how they're doing on the activities. So, there's good reasons to have the paid account, but you don't have to. You can just have codes or links for the kids to use, and they can all practice that way. So you can absolutely use it with more than 5 students. And I was talking there about Boom Learning and this little sample activity that I was showing you that my Kindergarten Literacy Club members got. Let's see, is it Dyra? I'm not sure if I'm saying your name correctly, you can correct me, but she says, are these compatible with Chromebooks? So the Boom Learning cards can be played on Chromebooks. I have played them all the time with kids at school on the Chromebook. They work well. Yes, I think that's what you were asking. But anything else in the Kindergarten Literacy Club is just a PDF, which of course can be accessed on a Chromebook. Okay, let's see. All right, so we looked at the Literacy Essentials. There's just lots of little goodies in here. I have some PD webinars for you too as well. Kindergarten, of course, is its own little world, and so I did record specific webinars for my club members about teaching guided reading, literacy centers, writing, and even though these aren't specific to the pandemic, so many of the concepts and the strategies can be used just with a little bit of modification. So I absolutely think that these will be helpful to you even if you're teaching in a modified situation this year. Okay, so these are some other goodies that are available for you in Intervention Central. If you are, and this probably isn't relevant right now, but it may be soon, if you're seeing that your kids are struggling with specific things like, phonological awareness is an issue, then you can use this if-then toolkit. So it'll say like, if a student struggles with rhyming, do this, and it'll just have different ideas, different possible solutions to help your kids when you find that they are struggling or that they need a little bit more support. So that is the if-then intervention toolkit. And again, I'm in Intervention Central here. There's so many other goodies in here too to help your kids with blending and segmenting, blending to read words once they get there, high frequency words, letter sounds, some activities for that. There's a multisensory alphabet book in there that you can make that my kids have loved. If you use glue or fabric paint. Once you print it out on the letters, the kids can actually trace and actually feel the letter if you have that glue or fabric paint on top. So this is really fun. I have like 4,000 windows open right now. Okay, so there's lots of stuff in Intervention Central. You've got your back to school materials, and I think I've pretty much shown you, there's more stuff that you can look at once you log in. But I just wanted you to get a sense of all of the goodies that are waiting for you as soon as you join. If you join in July, you will have the July materials, and then August 1st, you get brand new materials, and there's a huge bonus coming in August, independent work activities for your kindergartners that you don't have to be having them near each other. They could do these very easily at home. So you're getting a lot of big bonuses coming in August, and you already, as you can see, have a bunch of stuff in here. All right, so now we're actually gonna switch gears. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in, by the way. If you have to leave us, totally understand. We are going to switch gears into first and second grade, but please also feel free to type in any questions that you may have about the Kindergarten Literacy Club. We are accepting new members through not this Friday, tomorrow, but the following Friday. So you can join the Kindergarten Literacy Club at kindergartenliteracyclub.com, and it'll be open for new members through July 24th, and then we don't open again until January. So just a heads up about that. Now let's shift gears, and I'm going to go back to sharing the document camera. Thank you, Laura. Thanks, Letitia. Not sure if it's Letitia or Leticia, but thanks for being here. Okay, let's go back to the document camera. Now we're going to look at some first and second grade activities. And again, these are from the first and second grade literacy club, which is obviously for the first and second grade teachers. But you can use these ideas and some of the suggestions that I'm going to make, no matter if you have your own materials or what you are doing. Awesome, Lynn. I will be so excited to have you. Okay, so first and second grade club stuff. So just like there's certain centers, you get 4 centers, 3 books with the Kindergarten Literacy Club, there are certain materials that you get every single month with the first and second grade club. And one of those materials is a set of 4 passages, and the 4 passages are at different levels, but they're all on the same topic. So cardinals, this is like a level B, and you can do it with your A's too by just pre-teaching certain words, or you can have them use the QR code, the QR code there, or the link that's in the file that you get, and you can have them listen to the passage before they read it. So that's a great support as well, especially for your lower kids. And you also get a digital version, just a PDF of this passage that can be shared. We're going to be adding color versions of the photographs as well, in case you want to just send it to families to read. But this is something that you can do so many different things with, and I will show you some of the activities that go with it in a moment. But we've got, our level A or B. I believe this is C or D. I, J. We got the little label there. And then KL. So the point is here that, of course, we can't cover all levels in just 4 passages, but what you can do is try to match to the passage that's closest to your kid's level, and there should be something for lower first graders, for average first graders, for higher first graders, as well as for lower second graders, for average second graders, and for higher second grade readers as well. Try to hit all of those levels. But if your kid is like somewhere in between, no worries. All you do is you pre-teach a couple of the words in the passage, and again, you can have them listen to the passage before they read or after they read, and then read again. So there are ways that you can support them to be successful with the passage, even if it's not a perfect 100% fit for the level. We don't always have to match exactly our kids' level to the reading. There are things we can do to support them and provide those scaffolds so that they can be successful. So these are the passages, and you get 4 brand new ones every single month. So there's 4 passages here, all on different levels. You got your QR codes and also a link. For each passage, you also get a writing activity. Let me see. I don't know if I think I brought the writing stuff. I may not have brought the whole writing paper, but it'll be like a prompt that has something to do with the passage. And for this particular one, there's different cause and effect graphic organizers. So obviously, the graphic organizer is going to look different depending on if kids are working with like the I and J version versus the A and B version, but you will have one that's tailored specifically for kids at that level. So like here, I don't know how well you can see it, but female finds a place in a bush or low tree for her nest, and then the effect is that, you know, the nest is safe, and they answer that based upon the passage. And there's actually a whole other separate writing activity that they can do based on the passage. I just forgot to print that out to show you. Let's see. Amy, no, I don't have that if-then toolkit on TPT, sorry. The Literacy Club stuff, the stuff that's in the Literacy Club is just in the Literacy Club, and it's not available on TPT or anywhere else. Okay, so Colleen, with the QR codes on these, so you would need like some kind of QR code app on your phone or your tablet or whatever, but then you like put it over, I don't know how to explain it. You like take your phone and you put it over the QR code like you're gonna take a picture of it, and then it automatically goes to the SoundCloud website where they can press play and listen to the passage being read aloud. But if you don't want to mess with the QR code, you also get a direct link that's in the PDF where you download all this stuff. And that direct link you can also just give to families or use yourself, and that will have the read aloud too. So that's how that works. And Myrna, yes, the levels are following the Fountas and Pinnell leveling system, correct. All right. Okay, so we looked at the passages, we looked at the writing. Every single passage will also have a fluency or vocabulary activity. And they are leveled, right? So they're more appropriate for like level A and B. So this is our fluency roll and read. And this is something that the kids can very easily do on their own. This is a great activity that you can adapt and use in a variety of ways, because the kids, if you're at school with them, are probably not going to be able to do partner games or get close to each other. This is something that's like a little bit more hands-on than just a worksheet, but they can still do it by themselves. So what they do is they roll a die, and then depending on what they rolled, it gives them an emotion, and then it tells them to read this sentence using that emotion. So for example, like with surprise down here, let's see if I can position that correctly. They would read it like, I see a bird, like in a surprised voice. And of course we need to model that for them. But they read this more than once too, right? So they keep rolling, and every time they read a sentence, they fill in one of these bubbles, and they keep rolling and reading until all of these are colored in. So again, a simple game that they can play at school. You can also do this at home. Now let's say your families don't have dice. There are online dice tools that you can use. I did find one, and I actually put it in the Literacy Club materials, but I need to find another one because it was fine with an ad blocker, but if you don't have an ad blocker, some of the stuff that was popping up was a little dicey, so I need to look at that and make sure that there's one that doesn't have all the ads. But there are like online dice that you can find as well if your families don't happen to have dice at home. But other than that, you know, they can do the same activity at home as well. Let's see, Brenda, this is 1st and 2nd grade. So once we're done here, this video will post. So if you happen to need kindergarten, then what you can do is go back and watch the recording. But we, as of like 11:30 my time, are talking about 1st and 2nd grade stuff. Okay, so like I said before, each passage, you know, they match the passages. Got this goes with this. So your lower kids that are reading at this level would do this one. And then, you know, there's other versions of fluency roll and read that will work for your higher kids. So we've got 4 different versions total. And then this is kind of what it looks like with the little circles colored in as they read. And they just keep on reading and rolling until they're all filled up. So that's an example of a game that could be played at school independently, could be played at home, pretty flexible. So in addition to either a fluency or vocabulary activity for each passage, you also get some kind of phonics activity for each passage. And again, they're leveled. So all of them this time it's this ice cream race, and it can be played as a partner game, but they can also play it on their own. So if you have the July 1st and 2nd grade Literacy Club materials, you'll see that it's written as a partner game, but the kids can absolutely play by themselves as well. They don't really need a partner. So there's different skills, and we have, running out of space here, but we have like ending sounds where they're doing CVC words, and then they're categorizing them by, okay, so these all end with the sound the T, these all end in B, D, P, or G. So they are pulling a card. Let me see if I can find one of my cards. Okay, so I don't know where the one went that I cut out, but they are pulling these cards, which you cut apart, and then they are reading the word, and then they are writing the word based upon which ending sound it has. So it's getting kids to look for patterns in words, which is great. And also, like I said, it's labeled as a partner game. They can, take turns doing this, but they can also just do this on their own. They could do this at home, and families don't even need to necessarily print out and cut apart these. You could just have the parent read one, okay, bib, and then the kid has to decide where does it go, and they write the word bib based upon the ending sound that it has. So hopefully that makes sense, but it can be used at home or at school pretty easily. And then of course there's different versions of this. So the phonics games aren't always exactly the same, but they will, of course they're not exactly the same every month, but they will always correspond to the level of the passage. So this one is doing short vowels, and the kids, this one matches the level CD passage. We also have, I don't know if I printed that one. There's also one that has vowel teams, and then there's an even more challenging one for your higher students that has 2 syllable words with vowel teams. So if you've got some really, really high kids, we got the double E, not just one vowel team, not just 1 syllable word, but 2 syllables, beehive, and that got categorized there. So you can see how you can take one game and really easily adapt it, modify it so that different kids can play the same game, but they're playing it with different skills. So again, you have one phonics game for each level of passage. And the phonics skills correspond to the phonics skills that kids would ordinarily be working on at those levels. Let's see. Okay, so Michelle says, these are not available on Teachers Pay Teachers. These are the Literacy Club materials, 1st and 2nd grade literacyclub.com. And the Literacy Club materials are just for the literacy clubs, and they're not available on TPT. Cecilia, yes, you are welcome to post all of these activities in Google Classroom. You can share the PDFs with parents. However you share them is fine. They just can't be posted publicly to the internet or anything like that, but you can get parents to access them however you would like to. Mirna, we have different options for the membership. So it's $14 a month if you want to try it. And then if you want to do 6 months at a time, let me see how much it is. I think it's $70 for 6 months at a time, because then you get 1 month free. Yes, or you could do 12 months, and then if you do 12 months, you get 3 months free, and it's $126, but the monthly is just $14 a month. Okay, I think I showed you everything that I wanted to show you for the monthly materials. So these were the July materials. So members, when you log in, you're going to have access to this, and then you're going to get a whole nother set at the beginning of August, plus some special bonuses that I have planned for you to hopefully give you some activities that you can do with your kids, or you can send home at the beginning of the year to review, to build on some of those skills that maybe they weren't real solid in last year because of remote teaching. So you are going to get a huge bonus in addition to all your new activities, and that is coming in August. Okay, so here is the 1st and 2nd grade Literacy Club page. It's 1st and 2nd grade literacyclub.com, and I am also going to show you what is in your login, just because if you're a member, I want to make sure that you know where all of this stuff is. Angela, yes, you can cancel at any time. So let's say you join, you want to try it out, and you do the 14, then you can pull your payment info out so that you will not be billed again for next time. So yes. Michelle says, where do we get them? I'm going to put the little link 1st and 2nd grade literacyclub.com. Okay, so here is inside the membership. I'm excited to have you, Colleen. And so these were the July materials that I was just showing you, with the passages and activities. This is all the stuff. Something didn't save. You should have, so what you should see when you log in, and I'll fix this if I accidentally didn't add it, but you should have each, all of the activities in one PDF like I was showing you, but then you're also going to have these digital versions of the books, and they're going to be in color. So you can just share this one passage with a family. You can just share it, and it's already separated. It's already broken out for you. You can just send that to a family, and then you'll have everything in one file too. All right, so that's where you find this month's stuff. Monthly webinar. So we are doing a private Q&A session this afternoon at 4 p.m. Central. So our club members, we're going to meet, and if you can come live, great. It's just for our first and second grade literacy club members. But if you're not able to make it live, I'm going to upload the recording of our session in here so that you can watch it whenever you want. And it will not have an expiration date. As long as you're a member, if you miss one of our monthly chats, no big deal. You just go in here into the club and you watch what was missed. Okay, let's see. We've got some other goodies in here. There's some literacy scope and sequences in case you just need a little bit of help with structuring your year. Phonics scope and sequence. There's some writing folder tools in here. Guided reading stuff, just some extra little bonus goodies for you. We have PD webinars in here about teaching guided reading, literacy centers, writing, reading intervention. So there's different things that are specifically about first and second grade, and these are webinars that I recorded just for our club members. Let's see. Yes, Judy, I do have one for kindergarten. So the kindergarten one is kindergartenliteracyclub.com. And actually at the top of the hour, I was talking for about half an hour about the kindergarten club materials. Once our video finishes here, you'll be able to go back and watch that just in case you missed it. Yes, Angela, for sure. That will hopefully answer your question, but you can come back and watch again. Okay, Maureen, is there a combined K1? So I have a combined kinder and first and second grade one. Here it is. Okay, so this page has both clubs and there's a combined K2 club. Okay. All right, so coming back, so here were the webinars that I was showing you. Again, you don't have to watch them at a specific time. You can watch them really whenever you want to. And then we also have some bonus goodies for supporting your kids that may be a little bit lower. So let's say that your kids are struggling with comprehension and vocabulary. Here are some resources to help. Let's say they are struggling with phonics. Lots of goodies here. This resource has been one of our members' favorites. These are, say, tap right strips. So like they're sideways here, but what they do is they say the phoneme. So for the word map, app, and then they write M-A-P. So this is a great way to slow kids down if they just are like writing words and they're not listening for all of the sounds. They may be missing sounds. This is a great little tool to support them with that. So that's just one example of some of the resources in Intervention Central. There's stuff to support them with phonological awareness, all kinds of skills. If you are noticing that your kids need support in a particular area, which they very may well be in that position, especially since, you know, last year didn't quite go or it didn't quite end as we planned, this would be a great place to go to get resources to help those kids that may be a little bit behind, or just maybe your whole class needs a little bit of extra support. All right, let's see. Cecilia says, if you are a member, can you access K2 materials? So if you are a member of the first and second grade club, you have this login. If you are a member of the K2 combined club, then you get access to the first and second grade club materials, and you get access to the kindergarten club materials. And so if you need both clubs, don't join kindergarten and then first and second. You want to join the joint club because it's less expensive than getting kindergarten and first and second. Okay, Abby, I apologize if I missed it. No worries, but can you post PDFs in Seesaw, or is that considered public? So from what I understand, Abby, if you are sharing with your parents and you're just sharing it with your class in Seesaw, then yeah, you absolutely can post it there. Could you go and post it as a public activity in Seesaw for others to access? No, but you can send it to your families. You can send them stuff to work on. Anything in the clubs, you can share with parents that way, for sure. All right. Well, if you have any other questions, please feel free to let me know. I think I've kind of covered everything that I wanted to. We looked at the kindergarten materials, the first and second grade club materials for July, and then I showed you some of the other goodies. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. Clubs are open until July 24th, and then you know the club is going on throughout the year, but we're not opening up for new members again until January. So I hope to see you in the club. Let me know if you have any questions, and I know I will be seeing some of my club members later today for our private chat. So that's July 16th, 3 p.m. Central for our Kindergarten Literacy Club chat. You'll be getting a Zoom link. or 4 p.m. for our first and second grade literacy club chat, doing lots of Q&As. So bring your questions, and I will see you later. Thanks so much for watching.